everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace. I sat down here intending to use some of the Jesse James beads, and I ended up with only 2 Jesse James beads in this entire necklace. These 2 little beads were from the, I think it was called the Flower Garden strand. They had the cloisonne beads on it. Everything else here is from my stash. I've got some little blue flowers here that I got from Beadbox Bargains quite a while back. I've got some small rondelles, pink rondelles, and 2 big pink rondelles. I think these might have came from the curated bead box, these 2 big ones. I've got some of these blue, I think they're called coin beads, that I had in my stash. I've got some spacers and some bead caps from my stash. I've got a couple of little butterflies that I got from Beadbox Bargains, and some jump rings, and a couple of ball head pins, and I've got a couple of these links of this chain reaction that I cut up when I made the last that multi-strand, that 2-strand necklace that I made last time, that I'm going to use to dangle my butterflies off of. That's going to be my pendant part. Got some findings here. Got a lobster clasp, some jump rings, 4 wire guardians, and 4 2x2 crimp tubes. A couple of little links of that same chain, an extender chain. Got a little rondelle and a ball head pin there I'm going to do as a dangle off the extender chain. I don't know if I said I've got 4 2x2 crimp tubes in there. I think that's everything in there. And then I'm going to make some earrings. I've got some of the little coin beads and the flower beads and the little rondelles and a couple of ear wires and a couple of spacers and a couple of eye pins and a couple of ball head pins. I've got my soft flex beading wire. This is in fine, and this is bronze color, but like I've said before, it doesn't really matter about the color. By the time you get all the beads on there, you're not going to see the color of the wire. This is 21 strand. I used the Beadalon crimp tubes. I've got my bead stoppers. I've got my chain nose pliers, my crimping pliers. Crimping pliers are Beadalon. Got both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers. These are I got from BB Craft many years ago, and these are called Glitterline. Got both pairs of my cutters. I use one pair for bead stringing wire and the other pair to cut head pins and eye pins and craft wire. Got my round nose pliers and my tweezer pliers. The round nose pliers I got from BB Craft many years ago, and the tweezer pliers are Xuron. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wires in when I cut them off. There won't be a whole lot of that. This is mostly just stringing. So I think that's everything. As many as I can find, I'll put links to the stuff I'm using in the description box below. So hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to start by making my focal part. And I've already got one of my little butterflies on a wrap loop because I started and thought I had turned my camera on, and evidently I had not because there's nothing there. So I've already got one done, so I'm going to do the other one here. I'm going to put on my ball head pin. Take my pliers. It's a little bit trickier to do this because there's that little crevice down in there. I'm going to go to the end of the pliers, bend at a 90-degree angle over the pliers. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back till it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on really tight and take this part in under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the bead. And that usually stands your little wire almost straight up there. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers, hold on to my loop, hold really tight, take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start my wraps. Get that first wrap really tight. I'm just going to wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and go in that part there at the end that just has the little half circles on each side. I'm going to squish in my little burr that was left when I cut off my wire. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers, and I've got two little 4mm jump rings here that usually I always want to try to jump out of my hands, but hopefully they'll behave today. I'm going to open that up, thread on one of my lengths of chain and one of my butterflies. Close it back up. On this one, I've got 3 of the little swirly things on this one. And on this one, I've only got 2, so that my butterflies will hang at different lengths. Now I'm going to take the other 4mm jump ring, open it up, thread my other piece of chain on, thread my other butterfly on, close it up, make sure it's closed really well. Okay, now I'll make sure my little swirly things are going the same way. I don't guess it really matters. These butterflies are going to flip around when they're on the necklace, but this is an 8mm jump ring. Open it up, thread on one of my pieces of chain, and I hope it will go on there and it's not too thick. I do not believe it's going to go on there. I'm going to have to get another jump ring. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I didn't have an 8mm jump ring thin enough to go through that chain, but I'm going to just take another 4mm jump ring and put it at the top of each one of these. And then I'm gonna take my 8mm jump ring, thread my 4mm jump ring on there. And I got that turned around the way I didn't want to. Like I said, it probably doesn't matter. They're gonna flip around anyway, but yeah, there we go. Close my jump ring back. So that's going to be my focal part of my necklace. So now I'm going to get my beads together and string everything up. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to string this up now. This is going to be very asymmetrical. So I'm going to take one of my little pink rondelle beads and a spacer. And a coin bead. And a spacer. And another little pink rondelle. And a spacer. And one of these cloisonne beads. These can be hard to get on here. There's something inside of them that gets caught on the bead stringing wire. It doesn't want to go through there. It will go through there, I promise. There it goes. Wouldn't any trouble. Just got to get it the right way. Now I'm going to do another spacer and this other one and hope it doesn't give me as much trouble. But it probably will. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know if they're not drilled straight through or what. There it goes. Okay, now I'm going to do another spacer. Now I'm going to do one of the little pink rondelles and another spacer. I'm going to do 3 of my coin beads. And another spacer. And a rondelle. And one of my flower beads. And a rondelle, and another spacer, and 3 more of my coin beads, and a spacer, and a rondelle, a flower bead, and a spacer. I mean another rondelle and now a spacer. 3 more of my coin beads. And another spacer, rondelle, flower bead, rondelle, spacer, 3 coin beads, spacer, rondelle, spacer, flower bead, coin bead, spacer, and a rondelle. So that's what I've got for my first strand. Well, now I'm just going to put some bead stoppers on here and cut this off. And put it aside, and I'm going to string my other one. So let me get the beads out for the other one. I'll be back. I'm going to string up the other strand. Now I've had to lay these out so that I'd get them strung on here right, because I've worked for hours trying to get these strands to be the same length and to be the way I wanted them to be. Like I said, it's very, very asymmetrical. So I'm going to start with 3 of my rondelles. I'm going to do a spacer, a coin bead, spacer, do a rondelle, I'm going to do a bead cap, and one of these big rondelles, and another bead cap, and another little rondelle, and another bead cap, and my other big rondelle, and another bead cap, and another rondelle, little rondelle, and a spacer, and a coin bead, and a spacer, 3 of my little rondelles, a spacer, a coin bead, a flower bead, and a coin bead, a spacer, 3 rondelles, spacer, coin bead, flower bead, coin bead, spacer, 3 rondelles, spacer, coin bead, flower bead, coin bead, spacer, 3 rondelles, spacer, coin bead, spacer, flower bead, spacer, and 3 rondelle beads. That's what I've got for this side. Cut it off here so I can lay it out better. So there's no way you're going to be able to see it all. So that's sideways here, maybe you can see it. This is going to be one side of my necklace. This is going to be the other side of my necklace. So now I'm going to crimp. Let me get my crimp stuff out here and I'll crimp one of them. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to crimp now. Put my crimp tube on here. Put my wire guardian on. Go down the other channel of my wire guardian. Back through my crimp tube. Try to hold my wires apart, but they don't get crossed. See, I'm gonna tuck my little wire guardian in a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go take my crimping pliers and go in that second part that has the little circle on one side and the little notch on the other side. I'll lay my crimp in there. Make sure there's no wire coming out the top here. Squeeze. Turn my crimp. And that puts each little wire in its own little individual channel. Now I'm going to go on that top part that just has the little half circles on each side. Lay my crimp in there. Squeeze and fold my crimp. I'm going to tug. That's good. Now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Go to the other end here. Put my crimp tube on. My wire guardian. Tuck my little wire guardian in. I'm going to go down the other side of my wire guardian, back through my crimp tube, and I usually go through a bead or two on this side because that gets my hands out of the way, because everything's on the way on this side when you're trying to crimp. The beads and your hands and everything. I'm going to at least get my hands out of the way, it helps. I'm going to hold on to my wire guardian and pull my wire. Make sure to keep my wires from getting crossed. And now I don't want to have any slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be really tight either, because it won't drape well if it's really tight. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go in that second part like I did the first time. Squeeze. Turn it around. Go in that first part. Squeeze and fold my crimp. I'm going to tug. That's good. I'm going to cut off the extra wire. So that's going to be one side of my necklace. I don't know how I'm ever going to get all this on in one shot so y'all can see it when I get them both done. So I'll crimp this other strand and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm about ready to put it together now. First I'm going to make my little dangle to go on my extender chain. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to take my pliers and go to the tip of the pliers, bend at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back till it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this part and bend it up under here till it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the wires or till the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers. Hold on to my loop. First, see, I almost forgot. I was going to wrap it directly to the extender chain. I almost forgot again. Put my extender chain on here. Close my loop back. Now I'm going to hold on to it. Try to hold my extender chain out of the way. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start my wraps. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. And take my crimping pliers and go in that little part at the end and tuck in my wire or my burr that's left where I cut off the wire. Okay, got my little dangle done. So now I'm going to put it together. Just going to take my little focal I've made here. Open the jump ring. Thread on one side. Thread on the other side. Close it up. Sure to get it closed really well. Now I'm going to go up here to the end, and I'm sure this doesn't need this chain, but y'all know I've just got to put it on here. So I'm going to take one of my 6mm jump rings, thread on one side of my necklace, thread on my little piece of chain here. Close my jump ring. Take another 6mm jump ring. Thread on my other side. My other little piece of chain. Okay, now I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring. Thread on this end of my chain, my lobster. going to take another 6mm jump ring. Thread on this side. Thread on my extender chain. There we go. A very asymmetrical necklace. Let me see if I can figure out a way to get it all in the picture here, and I'll be back. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm not ready to try to get everything in the picture yet. I've still got to make my earrings. I was about to forget about them. Can't have that. So I'm going to take my ball head pin. I'll put my little flower on here. Go to the tip of the pliers. Bend at a 90-degree angle. Around those pliers, put in the crook of the bend. Around those pliers facing me. Bend the wire back till it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the wire up and under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Hold really tight. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start my wraps. Wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off the extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in my little burr. Left. I'm going to take my eye pin, open it up. Put my little dangle on. I'm going to take my coin bead, my spacer bead, and my rondelle. You gotta see how I want these to. I want my loop to go. I think I want it to go this way, so I'm gonna I want it to go this way. I'm gonna go just a little bit above the bead so I don't break my bead. Bend a 90-degree angle. Cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin. Hold this part so it didn't go flying. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, roll back a loop, make sure to get it closed up really well. This is going to hang the way I want it to. Just going to open it up and see what it looks like when I get it on there. I can always twist it around if I need to. I'm going to open my loop. Nope, get the side that opens. Get the wrong side. I'm the worst one in the world for getting the wrong side. Thread on my ear wire. Close it up. Yeah, that's hanging right. Well, there's my little earring. So I'll make the other earring off camera and then I'll come back and see if I can get everything laid out. Okay, there it is, all laid out. Best as I can get it laid out anyway in one picture. It's very asymmetrical. I used to wouldn't do anything asymmetrical, and now I just do it all the time. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.